So hey anime fans, the series name is What If Naruto Got Harem with Powerpuff. So let's start the series. Hi, you don't know me, I go by Alice, I'm the holy messenger of fate. At whatever point I see souls in a difficult situation, I attempt to change things to improve it for them. I realize it's not keeping the guidelines but rather a few standards should be broken to make the wisest decision. Presently you realize the rowdy rough kids, the anti-heroes of Townsville, well, they are currently 17 and are as yet doing wrongdoing, yet even though they don't know it they have large hearts inside ready to be opened by the littlest hands. Ha! You actually haven't gotten me yet, Block said with a triumph-sounding voice. We will see about that, she hollered at him, and they were battling like damnation. Get back here. Buttercup shouted, no way silly. Butch answered, additionally battling, and Air Pocket / Boomer were battling too. It was an ordinary day for them, however much to their dismay things will change for them no doubt. The young ladies won the battle and put the RRB in prison. Woman, those Powerpuffs. Block said, they are so irritating. Boomer answered, I wish they would simply vanish, said Butch. Presently, now young men, you really want to quiet down. Who said that? RRB expressed, remaining one after the other. It's alright, I won't hurt you. Who are you? Show yourself. They yield. I will in time, yet for the time being I want to request some help from you three. And what might that be? Said Boomer. There are 3 small children, 2 young men and 1 young lady. They need somebody to take care of them, to ensure what befell them won't occur, and I investigated your hearts and I think you 3 would be the regent fit. The RRB giggled at my solicitation. How could we do anything for anybody? Apishly, 3 little rascals. Could we make an arrangement about this? What about no arrangement? Said RRB. Then, at that point, I suppose you want to remain in prison then. Stand by. You can get us out? They inquired. Yes. RRB took a gander at one another and gestured. Okay, what's going on? They inquired. I'll send you to the children town where you will meet them and get to know them, so you can choose if you want to take my give or not, and as a trade-off for consenting to do so I will liberate you from prison. HHMM. How long will we stay there? Block inquired. 5 moths. I suppose that all right, do you folks think? Block asked his siblings. Certain whatever, they answered. We will make it happen. They said, okay then. Uses her heavenly messenger powers, and before they know it they are in Japan in the Leaf Village. Amazing product are we? They yelled in shock. They're in an old town. This is the Leaf Town product you will meet. Group 7. As long-term olds. Who on earth is Group 7? Asked RRB. You will find out in time. Asterisk disappears asterisk. So the young men pondered in and out of town, not realizing that Group 7 would change their lives for eternity. Let's split up to track down those children, Block proposed. Okay, his siblings answered, and they split up to find the children I was discussing. Around then a kid named Naruto was perched on a swing alone. As Boomer was strolling along he saw Naruto, the 6-year-old kid, and asked why he was separated from everyone else. Unfortunate youngster, he said, and was shocked himself. He said that, however, disregarded it and sat close to him. Hello, you alright? He inquired. I presume, answered the miserable young man. Lire, what's going on? The kid gazed toward him, asking why he could ask that, pondering for what valid reason he was in any event conversing with him. Everybody can't stand me, he finally said. Boomer was stunned. How could everybody loathe the lil kid? What did he foul up? Why? He inquired. Are you evil or something? Asterisk like. I'm, asterisk he thought. Why? They simply do. Well, I'm sure you're a pleasant kid, said Boomer. Depend? Asked Naruto. Better believe it, I dash. Before he could complete, Naruto embraced him tight with a grin. In shock, Boomer embraced back. Close reasoning. What's this inclination? I felt blissful. Around then Block was strolling to a jungle gym and saw a young lady with pink hair named Sakura being prodded by different children 'cause of her brow. Block was somewhat frantic about this and had no clue about why, and when he realized it he was in shock and thought, for what reason am I distraught for? This young lady, as she ran off crying he followed her and saw a young lady named Ino converse with Sakura then, at that point, leave cheerfully to get something for her. After she surrendered Block strolled to her, "You alright?" he inquired, crying no, replied the young lady. Block then scoured her back somewhat, "It's alright, don't pay attention to them, they are simply jealous that you're a pretty young lady and that they are revolting." She laughed at that remark and he grinned, "So you fell be dash." He was interfered with by an embrace from the young lady. Block was in shock, however he embraced back. What is this inclination, he thought. Around then a kid named Sasuke was preparing with his more seasoned sibling Itachi and being respected by different children, however being irritated as a result of it. Butch strolled by and giggled a little as Sasuke was attempting to move away from the fan bunches while Itachi was conversing with a portion of his companions. Butch shrugged and thought, "Gracious, what in the world, I should help the youngster, seen him stuck here," so he took cover behind a shrub and pulled him ready. "What are you dash?" Sasuke was interfered with by Butch's hand covering his mouth. "Shush." The children ran by searching for himself and were gone. Butch grasped his hand back and let him go. "For what reason did you do that for?" asked Sasuke. "I figured to help you, yet don't get used to it, kid, this is a one-time offer." "Why would that be?" he inquired. "'Cause I'm reprobate youngster," Butch answered. "You don't seem as though one smiles you appear to be great." Sasuke said, "Decent. Look kid, I dash." He was interfered with by Sasuke embracing him. In shock Butch embraced him back. "For what reason are you embracing me for?" he inquired. "To express profound gratitude." Butch said nothing, embracing him more tight, not knowing it. Sometime thereafter the young men left, the children grinning, not knowing it. "I keep thinking about whether they are the children that voice was discussing." Little did they realize they were correct and would figure out why soon in time. The following day the RRB split up to get to know the children they meet the day preceding, reasoning, "We should see them, seen we're stuck here." The blue one named Boomer went to a similar spot. Product, he meet Naruto, yet he was not there. Product, is he? He asked himself. That is the point at which he crowd Naruto running from a furious horde and crying, "What in blazes?" Boomer shouted and flew after them. "Get that evil spirit imp!" one of the men shouted. Boomer got irritated and flew in quicker, snatching Naruto into his arms and holding him tight and trains to the crowd. "Why are you doing this? He's simply a youngster." The horde was shocked. This blue man had hardly any insight into the Kyuubi. Nine-tailed Fox was the person who nearly obliterated the town, and that it was inside Naruto. "Well, response me," Boomer shouted, with Naruto embracing him crying, "'cause he has that devil inside him, and in the event that we kill him, the evil presence will be dead." A lady said. Boomer was confounded. What were they referring to? Naruto is only a kid. Irritated, he took off quicker than they could flicker and flew within an old structure, attempting to quiet Naruto down. "It's okay. Shush, it's alright. They won't get you," he said in a quiet voice, scouring Naruto's back. As yet crying, he asks, "Why did you save me, comma?" Boomer replied, "Well, why? I just flew off the handle when I saw them after you. I lacked opportunity and willpower to think." Smiles a lil besides, you're a pleasant youngster. Naruto grinned back and quieted down, embracing him tight, and Boomer embraced back. After a couple minutes Naruto was sound snoozing. Boomer grinned and brought him back home, or at in case he attempted to, he had no clue where he resided. Grind. Presently, how am I supposed to get him home to his folks? Boomer told himself. Then I descended behind him. Boomer hopped and trined around and saw me. I was splendid white with enormous open holy messenger wings and had fair hair such as himself and had blue eyes. I will show you. Boomer was in shock to see me, a holy messenger, directly before him, and he wasn't even the hero. Goodness, I didn't believe heavenly messengers preferred fiendishness. He said, "We don't," I answered. "Why did you ask me and my siblings for help?" He inquired, "'Cause you're not quite as underhanded as you naturally suspect," I answered with a grin. Boomer was going to offer something, however at that point halted and inquired, "Might you at any point help me here?" I grinned and took him to the so-clad home of Naruto Uzumaki. Boomer was in shock. He lived in a dump of a condo and at 6 years old, with no family to care for him. "This is product he lives?" he inquired. "Yes," I answered. Boomer put Naruto in his bed and got my hand and took me outside without arousing up Naruto. "Alright, make sense of now. Product are his folks?" he asked. I addressed. "Unfortunately, he has none." He was in shock. I said that, "No family?" he inquired. "No family or companions by any means," I said. He was in shock and posed me a 1,000 inquiries, wow, each in turn. I responded to every one of his inquiries until he got to the final remaining one. "For what reason is everybody calling him a devil?" I murmured and showed him the Night the Nine-Tail has inside Naruto. Boomer was in finished shock. He was unable to say a thing. Presently, "Do you see the reason why this kid needs you?" Boomer said. "Yet I'm evil." "You're not evil." "Bad yes, evil no." I answered. He said nothing, pondering all that he did, and she was correct. "All right, however, for what reason do you want me to be near the youngster?" I answered, "You definitely know and will depends it in time," so I despaired. The following day Boomer went straight to the man in control, the third Hokage. He ran straight to his office and shouted, "For what reason did you put this devil inside him? He didn't pick this. Now everybody is attempting to kill him." The third was in shock. This man was hollering at him. "Wow, shellfish down. What are you referring to?" he inquired. "Naruto, you idiot." Boomer yelled. The third was in shock. He knew Naruto and grinned, realizing he gave it a second thought, and inquired, "Do you want to take Naruto in as your child?" Boomer was in shock. "Simply stand there for a couple of minuets." "What did you ask me?" Boomer said. Yet the third grinned in answer. "Of course, sir. Yes, I will," expressed Boomer in answer and grinned. The following day Boomer was having second considerations about taking Naruto in. After all, he was just 17. He met up with his siblings and enlightened them, and they were in shock. "You must be kidding," Block said, and Boomer shakes his head no. "Well, do you care for Naruto?" asked Butch. "Yes," Boomer answered. "Then, at that point, who cares how old you are in the event that you're willing to be this kid's father? Make it happen," said Block. Smiles *. "Yeah, I surmise you're right," Boomer answered. Then a dark hard kid approached them. It was Sasuke Uchiha. "Hey green man," he said with a grin. Butch chuckled a little. "I am Butch, recollect." Sasuke sweat dropped and scoured the rear of his head with a frail snicker. "Sorry, I didn't converse with you for quite a while, so I failed to remember you. Let me know your name," he said anxiously. Butch grinned. "It's all right," he said. "Who's this kid, brother?" Block inquired. "This is Sasuke," Butch answered. "Truly?" Then, at that point, he thought, "Thinks amazing. That is a similar kid. Sakura likes this. Ought to intrigue." Block said. "Yes," answered Butch. Before Sasuke could express greetings to them, his more established sibling came in. "There you are, Sasuke," said his irritation. "Gracious howdy, older sibling," he said grinning, and he got Sasuke and placed him on his shoulders. "Who are you?" Butch inquired. "Goodness, I'm Sasuke's more established sibling, Itachi Uchiha," he answered. "Good to meet ya." Every one of them three answered. "It's good to meet you also. I'm upset for the rush, however I ought to get Sasuke to school." "All right," said Itachi. "Gracious, okay, bye," them three said as they saw them leave. Yet Butch had a terrible feeling about Itachi. He didn't have any idea what it was, nevertheless something about him had some issues. As the night passed, Butch feared something was going on. He was unable to rest, realizing Sasuke may be in a difficult situation. For what reason would it be a good idea for me I be stressed over this youngster? He thought, perhaps, I care for him like Boomer does with Naruto. No, he has a family, and a father. Pondering how Sasuke would embrace his father caused him to feel debilitated to his stomach. He didn't have the foggiest idea why, yet seeing it in his mind made his heart drop. Then the terrible inclination returned and he looked stressed. "Wake up, Butch. I'm certain he's fine, other than he has his sibling to safeguard him," he contemplated internally and constrained himself to rest. Much to his dismay, Sasuke just saw Itachi kill his whole family, however himself. The following day, everybody discussing happened the previous evening with the Uchiha faction being killed. Butch over group 2 men discussing it and eyes augment large. "Sasuke," he said unobtrusively, and goes to them and handles the men. "Makes sense of now. What happened?" The men let him know somebody killed all of the Uchiha tribe. However, one young man, as they completed it, began to rain. "Who was the boy?" he shouted. The man replied, "Sasuke Uchiha." Butch moaned in help and got up, aiding the man up. "Product is he?" Butch inquired. "At the hospital," the man answered. Butch's eyes enlarged once more, yet took off quick. He ran in start to the work area. "Product Sasuke." The lady let him know. Sasuke ran off. Butch left without saying anything, searching for him in the downpour. "On the off chance that I don't find him soon, his injuries could get worse and he could contract a bug," he shared with himself, stressed. As the day passed, the downpour halted and Butch was soaking wet, yet couldn't care less, and sees Sasuke at the docks peering down at the water. "I can't help thinking about everything Daddy would agree to, Mother," he pondered internally as he tossed a stone into the water and saw Itachi's reflection in it. "And gets pissed, brother," he said furiously and hopped in. "Sasuke." Butch bounced in after him and got him out of the water. "Sasuke, what are you thinking?" Sasuke was in shock and said nothing. Butch got Sasuke out of the water and gotten him and himself dry. "I heard what occurred," said Butch. He just peered down, crying a little. Butch got him in his arms and embraced him tight. "It's okay, let it all out." Sasuke embraced back, crying, "It's somewhat unreasonable. They didn't deserve to pass on. He killed everybody. My mother, my father, everybody." Sasuke said, "Will," crying. Butch scoured his back a little, quieting him down. "Who at any point killed his family will kick the bucket, that bastard." He thought, "Who did it, Sasuke? You can tell me," Butch said in a quiet voice. Sasuke answered, "Will," crying, "My sibling." "Itachi." Butch's eyes enlarged in complete shock. "His own sibling? That is simply crazy," he thought, and his eyes filled with rage. Yet before he could say something, Sasuke said, "I will kill him. I'm a justice fighter," he expressed, irritated. Butch was in shock. "Sasuke, no. You can't let this ruin your life." "I couldn't care less," shouted Sasuke. "Well, I do. You pass on Itachi to me," he said. "No, you can't. He's areas of strength for two, will kill you as well." He begins embracing him more tight and won't let go. "Kindly, don't allow him to kill you," cries. "Please." Butch didn't say anything and just embraced him tight to him. "God, this youngster, he *size*. Sometime thereafter he returned Sasuke to the clinic so he can remain there for the night. As he was going to leave, the lady said, "You love this kid, don't you?" Butch halted abruptly. "Yes," he answered. The lady grinned and said, "You realize he has nobody else to go to. How about you take him in?" Butch was in shock. She asked that, and yet cheerful, he grinned and said, "I couldn't want anything more than to tell him when he's finished here. I will take him in." So he left. A couple of days after the Uchiha family was killed, both Boomer and Butch began dealing with Naruto and Sasuke. However, they didn't consider them to be fathers yet, which was good with Boomer and Butch. They realized it would take a while, yet Block was beginning to get desolate and went to search for Sakura. He strolled to her home and saw her more seasoned sister Aom, my sanction. She had red hair rather than pink like Sakura's and had bruised eyes. She glanced over to Block and grinned. That is when Block notes she had versus each product and was doing whatever it takes not to cry. "Would you say you are okay?" He asked her, definitely realizing she was Sakura's sister. "I'm fine." She answered. However, Block realized something was continuing, something she wasn't letting him know. Then it hit him. Sakura. He thought. Then he asked, stressed, "Product is your sister?" Aom began to cry. "I don't realize father took her. Satisfy, you got to help us. Our mother, she passed on quite a while back, so our father took us in. All was great for quite a while, yet he transformed. He gazed, beating and assaulting me. He never stops. He hasn't done it to my sister yet. Yet he will. Crying he will." Block was in shock. He thought, a dad assaulting and harming his own children. He woke up and advised Aom to return home. He will get Sakura, and ran off until she was gone, and afterward flew off. After all, she would go ballistic in the event that she realized he could fly. Block looked each product, yet no sign of her or her father. He got really stressed as the sun was going down. Then he group a cry. It was a young lady crying and frightened. He knew that cry. Sakura. He took off as quick as possible to product. He crowded, and to his shocking view he saw Aom dead before Sakura, and Sakura was crying on top of her. He flew down to her and strolled gradually up to her. "Sakura," she tried. "Block." She hurried to him and embraced him, crying, "She's dead, Daddy killed her." Block embraced her back, holding her near him, and took a gander at Aom's body and peered down, feeling regretful. He came too late. "Everything will be alright, I guarantee," he said smoothly. She was terrified, however had a solid sense of security for reasons unknown, and quieted down and thought, "Why this man, Block? For what reason is he stressed over me? I'm only a tad young lady," he implied, "aren't I?" She gazed toward him and he was concerned. He realized he was unable to bring her back home to her father, yet he had no way out. He didn't reserve the option to take her. Of course he is evil, could simply take her. Nobody would need to know, other than perhaps he could inspire her to converse with Sasuke more. From everything Butch said to him, he loves her as well. "Yes, I'm a Sasuke Sakura fan." She recognized it all easily, the concern, the underhanded idea he had of taking her, yet most weakly love. She grinned up at him and rested her head against his chest and feel snoozing in his arms. He grinned and took off with her home to his siblings. Then, at that point, supposes, if that so-clad daddy ever attempts to try and contemplate harming Sakura, he will kick the bucket. At the point when he got there and placed Sakura in the third bed they had, he let his siblings know what occurred, and they were in shock. "You became messing with me. He killed his own child?" asked Boomer. "Yes," answered Block. "I trust Sasuke doesn't figure out he has eyes for her, however he never shows it. He believes she's simply one more fan. Young lady, he's terrified she will leave when she sees somebody more famous than him." Butch made sense of Block, snickered a bit. "Don't stress, she enjoys him back. Other than he won't find out," answered Block. "Yet what do we tell the young men tomorrow when they see her here?" "I don't have any idea," answered Block. "Well, one thing is without a doubt, there will be a battle between the young men." Block and Butch checked out at one another, then back at their blue sibling. "Why?" they inquired. "Naruto likes Sakura too," he answered. Both Butch and Block sweet dropped. "Great," they said snidely, and afterward hit the sack. The following day Naruto and Sasuke went outside to play. Shockingly, they were just opponents in ninja mode, and at school, however at home they were closest companions forever, BF4L. However, at that point they saw Sakura emerge and asked why she was there. Naruto became flushed a little while Sasuke claimed not to mind, but rather the two of them approached her. "Greetings Sakura," Naruto said, grinning. "Hey Naruto," she expressed, grinning back. Sasuke blew up, yet he disregarded it. Sakura then saw Sasuke and become flushed a bit. "Hey Sasuke-kun." Sasuke grinned in answer. "Hey," he said. After that them three began to play together as the RRB and I were watching them. Naruto went to go to the restroom as Sakura was swinging on the swing. That is when Sasuke saw the injuries on her arms and legs and considered what happened and approached her and sat close to her on the swing. "You alright?" he inquired. "Definitely I'm okay," she answered cheerfully. why do you have wounds? He asked stressed. She became flushed realizing he gave it a second thought and peered down bashful. Sakura, he asked confounded, no doubt. For what reason do you have wounds? She peered down with a couple of destroys her face. My daddy hurt me. Sasuke was in shock and flew off the handle and you could perceive he was going to pop. However, at that point Naruto emerged. You alright Sasuke, what are you frantic at? Naruto inquired. Nothing, I should be distant from everyone else. He got up and strolled off. Naruto sat close to Sakura. What's with him? He asked her. She just sat there watching Sasuke stroll off and become flushed realizing he carved and grinned enormous. Sakura. She didn't say anything and strolled off to let Ino know what happened. Naruto disregarded it and went to skip rocks. Boomer murmured realizing Naruto will be miserable when he figure out Sakura like Sasuke not Naruto. Butch and Block didn't have the foggiest idea what to say yet. That is when Block saw a young lady watching Naruto and grinned. Hello brother, look. He highlighted the young lady. Boomer looked and grinned. The young lady was Hinata. Yes, M.A. Naruto's Hinata fan. She was becoming flushed and pointing her fingers together watching Naruto and snickering. Boomer grinned. I keep thinking about whether he even knows she's there, he said. Who knows brother, said Butch. That is the point at which I came up behind them choosing to explain to them why they were decided to track down Group 7. Hi young men, the RRB hopped and glanced over to me. Boomer was the one in particular who saw me so far, so Butch and Block were in shock to see me. Boomer grinned. Hey, he shared with me, you know her? Block and Butch inquired. No doubt she's the voice that got us here, he answered. Thank you Boomer, I go by Alice, I'm the heavenly messenger of predetermination, I told them. Gracious, I see. So for what reason did you bring us here? Block inquired. Well, you know part of the explanation. The RRB gestured realizing I implied taking them in. Well, they would have been acceptable for quite a while all alone and became Group 7 and went on mission. Sakura's dad assaulted her a ton. However, when she was 10 his sister took her in and she called her mother. Goodness, then, for what reason do they require us for? I peered down with a couple of destroys my face on the grounds that after they got gone after by Orochimaru he gave Sasuke a cruise mark. The kid's eyes enlarged apishly. Butch, WH. What do you mean? Butch asked stressed. I cried and let them know everything, how Sasuke left the town and that Naruto utilized his devil drives and could let completely go over it because of his downturn and how because Sakura felt so alone her father could assault her perpetually effectively without the others figuring it out. The young men were in shock and had tears going down their faces. Apishly. Butch, yet why? How? At the point when, they inquired, I'm afraid I can't perceive you know, however you will figure out in time, and with that I left. Wait. They said yet I was at that point gone. The young men were in shock and had tears going down their appearances. They needed to prevent this from happening, they just needed to. In the wake of contemplating it they split up to find them, trusting that they will change history so nobody could take them away. As the days passed the RRB gave a valiant effort to be great fathers, yet of course them being just 17 and messes with themselves was not aiding for them. It was similar to having a child too early in light of the fact that they accomplished something idiotic, sex. However, it was anything but a mix-up. They did. Group 7 required them, grown-ups or not. They must be capable. Even an obstinate rowdy rough kid can be serious, right? All things considered, the young men were beginning to provoke that they were near Group 7 like any father could be for their child, yet they pondered, do they adore them as fathers? As the young men were attempting to consider how to forestall this horrendous future from happening, Group 7 were in the recreation area playing. Do you suppose Block and his brothers are all right? They appeared to be stressed, Sakura inquired. I'm sure they're all right. Sasuke answered, uncertain of himself, for he was stressed over Butch. I trust Boomer's all right. Naruto said, stressed. That is when Ino and a gathering of children came in. Howdy Sakura, Ino said happily. Howdy Ino, Sakura answered. Different children expressed hi to Sasuke and Sakura. Then they saw Naruto. Why is he here? They asked with a leave look. Sasuke and Sakura blew up and remained before him. He's our companion and he's with us. The gathering of children were stunned. Come on Ino, they have gone with the washout, they said, leaving. However Ino remained. No, I'm remaining as well, she expressed, remaining with Sakura and Sasuke, who were in shock. Goodness, come on Ino, said a kid. Even though Sasuke got low doesn't mean you need to too. As he said this, Sasuke needed to punch him, however he didn't, concerning there were grown-ups each product. Hello, let them be, will ya? Naruto might be irritating, yet in the wake of seeing him play with Ino, Sasuke, and Sakura he can't be simply terrible. The children investigated and saw a kid named Kiba shielding them with his doggy Akamaru as he strolled over and remained close to Naruto. Better believe it, I concur with Kiba. Size, you all are problematic at any rate, said another kid. His name was Shikamaru and he strolled in with the gathering. I'm with you Shikamaru, said a tubby kid who is Shikamaru's best friend like Naruto and Sasuke. His name was Choji and he remained close to his dearest companion. That is the point at which a modest young lady remained behind Naruto in understanding. She was Hinata. She became flushed seriously when she was Naruto grin at her. Then, at that point, her cousin participated with his companions. His name was Niji and his companions' names were Tenten and Rock Lee. Then not long afterward Shino came in, causing them to be a major gathering of companions with Naruto, and he was in shock. Before they never conversed with him, now they were safeguarding him. However, at that point again they became more pleasant and begun playing them, him and Sasuke and Sakura more, and really would agree that greetings to him when they saw him, and that went for every individual who was remaining before him. The other gathering of children were in finished shock and left crushed. Then Kiba approached Naruto. Don't stress, they won't irritate you for however long we are here, he said with a grin. Everybody was grinning at him, and Hinata was becoming flushed, and Naruto grinned back, that grinned like it would arrive at up close. As the day went by of them playing together, different children passed on saying their farewells to them three, and Group 7 headed home. It was late and them three got lost. I'm frightened, Sakura said. Don't stress, Naruto and I are here to safeguard you, Sasuke said with a comforting grin, making her blush. Naruto didn't see this, however said, of course we will trust it. Sasuke and Sakura snickered a little at his remark. They continued to stroll until they generally began to get frightened, not knowing product they were. Then, at that point, they crowd something and hopped. What was that? Naruto asked, terrified. I don't have any idea. Sasuke answered, likewise terrified, while Sakura was excessively frightened to say anything. Back at home the young men got truly stressed, realizing they ought to have come back at this point, so they took off to search for them. Do you see them? Boomer inquired. No, answered Block. Then they Group 7 shout. The young men eyes broaden large. What's more, took off as quick as possible and saw a man removing Sakura and a group of individuals they never saw before get Naruto to kill him, and Sasuke was lost in the group shouting Naruto and Sakura's names, frightened. The young men got irritated and spilt up. Block followed the man until he neglected to focus on them, and afterward crowd Sakura shout in torment. He broke in and found with sickening dread Sakura's so-clad father assaulting her, Sakura, a 6-year-old. With respect to Boomer, he found Naruto restricted to a post as the irate crowd was going to set it ablaze, and concerning Sasuke, Butch couldn't find him any product. What will occur straight away? Peruse the following part to find out. Block developed red with fury and dismissed him from Sakura, who was presently taken out. You ridiculous bastard, he shouted as he began to give a thumping to him, and he retaliated. Well, on the off chance that it isn't her new daddy, how charming, yet you do depend she won't ever call you daddy. He shared with Block to deride him, yet Block got more annoyed, battling him like nuts. Don't bother her, He yelled and hit him directly upside the head. That is when Sakura awakened. Even though he hurt her, she actually adored her daddy, since she figures he didn't do it deliberately, better believe it. Sure he did, yet she's 6, can you do? As she saw them battling, she saw a block hit him right upside the head. Daddy, she shouted. Block then sabered. She was conscious and saw she was checking her father. You didn't need to hit him. Block out. Block was in shock. However, Sakura he dash, before he could complete, her father smacked him directly in the gut, which made him hack up blood. Birk. Daddy, stop, she shouted, crying. Block didn't have the foggiest idea what to do. By then he realized she was terrified, yet significantly more with the goal that she actually adored her father even after all he did to her. Knowing this made Block's heart drop. As Block and Sakura's father were battling, Naruto was attached to a post, frightened and crying. A man approached him with a stick of fire in his grasp and grins, time for you to pass on, devil. So he set the straw around Naruto and fire, and he shouted, attempting to move away from the blazes. The crowd cheered as they saw the kid cry, thinking their difficulties from the devil were over, until Boomer came into the salvage and he was irritated. He put the flares out and unfastened Naruto and put him down delicately, looking hard and long at him. He had a couple of consume stamps, yet nothing dangerous. After he was finished and stood up leisurely and patterned to the crowd with his face red with rage, his voice turned out to be more detestable-like and scarier than previously. You miscreant rubbish, this is an innocent young man and you attempt to consume him to death, and I thought this town couldn't get any lower. As he was saying this, the crowd began hollering at him. What are you referring to? He's a devil rascal, he ought to be dead, the man yelled. When he was done, Boomer was directly before him in a flicker of an eye, and he contorted his neck, killing him. An underhanded grin spread across his face. That was the first time he killed somebody, and it felt good. The before he knows it, the opening crowd began battling him at the same time. As this was going on, Butch continued to search for Sasuke, stressed out of his mind. Then he heard Sasuke shout and traveled to product. He heard it and he saw ex-ninja, and he was looking frantic at Sasuke. His name was Akio. He despised the Uchiha family, and when he found out there were 2 remaining, he decided to kill them. As he planned to kill Sasuke, Butch disrupted the general flow and hit him upside the head. Avoid him. Sasuke took cover behind Butch. That is when Akio utilized his battling moves and began battling Butch, and he retaliated. Butch. Sasuke scrammed, not understanding what to do. He was unable to allow him to kick the bucket, and for reasons unknown his heart was slowing down in 2 as it did when Itachi made him see his father pass on. That is when Sasuke savored he cherishes Butch like a daddy. Before he could say anything, Butch hollered at him. Sasuke, don't simply stand there, leave. Sasuke escaped his contemplations and began to run off like Butch told him to, as he heard Butch and Akio battle. However, at that point he stopped. He thought back and saw them battling, and Butch was losing. Back with Block, Sakura's father Ichiro and Sakura. Block took Ichiro out and strolled over to Sakura, who was terrified. Sakura, it's all right, it's me, he said as he bowed down to her. At first she stepped back, however at that point she recognized the hurt easily when that's what she did. It's alright, it's simply me, D. Block. However, before Sakura could do anything in answer, Ichiro fought against eminent loss and hit Block across the head, and Sakura shouted. Block's head was draining, yet he didn't mind. He simply needed to move Sakura out of there, away from him. Man, you are moronic, you shouldn't let your guard down, amigo kid. He got Sakura's arm firmly and she tired to move away. No daddy, it harms, she shouted. Quiet down, he said as he slapped her. At this, Block got irritated and made him let go of her by winding his wrist as he gave a howl of torment. Sakura was in shock, yet the more he saw her so clad, daddy, continue to battle Block and not give a woman about her being there while Block did, caused her to feel something for Block that she never searched her genuine father. Is this the way in which I should feel about my daddy? She contemplated internally. As this was activity on Boomer was angry the mob and was whining at first but he was outnumbered and was starting to lose a back. Naruto woke up and saw what was accident in shock. What's he? He began but didn't accomplishment as he acquainted article he never did afore appear the third that was like a dad to him afore Boomer came in. Is this what I'm supposed to feel with a daddy, he thought. At this time in anniversary bearings the RRB were about to be asleep by their opponents. The kids watched in shock with tears bottomward their faces and they screamed with all their heart, "Daddy," to the RRB. The RRB's eyes wide and wide acceptable they aloof alleged them daddy. For the first time the kids knew they admired them added afresh a kid would with their dad and clad them daddy. As anon as they assemblage aggregation 7 alarmed them Amoroso got a ability that they didn't alike apperceive they had. As Ichiro was about to kill Brick and afterwards Sakura screamed Amoroso he realized Sakura active to him with advanced eyes he knew if he doesn't stop him now she will jump in the way. He effective her dad's wrist with a dispatch ablaze and threw him Aegis the bank with eyes aglow red. Daddy! Sakura screamed as she hugged Artery legs bound afraid he was activity to die. Brick smirked, she will never alarm me Amoroso who? He said to Ichiro as he was accepting up, now endemic annihilation captivation me back. He said as he effective his abutting, Sakura attending abroad this will get messy. He said and she did as she was told and aback abroad a little so he could accept room. The abutting affair Brick knows he's on blaze and didn't realize it and he asleep Ichiro like he was nothing. As he calmed bottomward he went aback to accustomed and approved to Sakura and kneeled bottomward to her with his accoutrements advanced accessible and she ran into his accoutrements like her activity deepened on it and hugged him as bound as she could. Are you okay daddy? She asked he said annihilation but aloof hugged her aback bound to him captivation her in his accoutrements like any ancestor would crying, of happiness, daddy. You okay why are you crying? She asked afraid and hugged tighter. I'm okay, I'm just, happy. He said as he captivated her errant able himself that he will never leave her abaft for he bear his baby girl, back with Boomer and Naruto. As anon as Naruto screamed Amoroso Boomer got stronger on the atom and accursed anybody off him as his eyes glowed aphotic dejected. Close your eyes and awning your ears, this is activity to get ugly. He said and Naruto did as he was told the abutting affair the villagers knew was a hug beachcomber advancing from abaft Boomer came out of no ceramics and drowned them all. He calmed bottomward and absolved up to Naruto and best him up into a hug and Naruto hugged aback like it was the abandoned affair he knew how to do, I adulation you daddy. He said and as he said that Boomer hugged him tighter errant because he was so blessed I adulation you to Naruto. He said and he messed up his beard playfully and Naruto gave him a balmy smile. As all of this was activity on Butch was angry Akio and was about to be asleep until he adamantine Sasuke bawled, Daddy.